So exactly what am I doing here? Well, it occurred to me that if I'm going to have a mainframe channel called My Little Mainframes or Ernie's Little Mainframes or what have you, I probably should have some little mainframes. And I got an idea from Nicholas Timisi's wonderful little 1401 model that he created that I have in one of my videos. I think it's the third or fourth video, maybe the third video. I have several 3D printers. These 3D printers I use for all sorts of different projects. When you're like us, or anyone who's watching this channel, you're probably into all sorts of fun tech things and tech history, and we're curious to a fault, as they say. Well, that's me. So I have my 3D printers, and although I wouldn't call myself all that good at designing, I'm not terrible, and that's just my opinion. And I use a little product called Tinkercad, which is dirt simple, free, online, doesn't require anything, but you go to the website, you sign up for it, and off you go. And it's from Autodesk, which makes the venerable AutoCAD software, something that I have had decades of experience with. I was a AutoCAD professional back in the 90s. I even taught AutoCAD. I even had all the certifications. I went so far as to being on the board of the people who wrote the AutoCAD certifications and have traveled, to San Rafael, California on a number of occasions, but that's a different life. And now as a retired guy, I have lots of time to play with all sorts of fun stuff, and this is exactly what I'm doing. So here is my little set of prints, and right here we have what will be in a moment a little 3090 mainframe. This is a cool little 1403 printer, not so little in the real world. And right here I have a desk, but it is currently gluing. Gluing? Yes, gluing. Using this wonderful stuff, the E6000. Don't get this on your pants, whatever you do, because it will never come off. But you can glue all sorts of stuff together with E6000. Anyway, what I had been doing was using various graphic tools. Actually, one of the best tools in the world is just good old drawings.google.com. Google makes some essentially basic but rather usable products that you just use online if you have yourself a Google account. And one of the things I did was to mock up or to create a little graphic set from all sorts of resources on the internet and just popping stuff in there and shrinking it down. Excuse me for my hands, but I talk with my hands, as it were. Oh, and hang on 1 second here. If you've been watching my channel, if you have been a stalwart follower of this fun stuff we've been doing, here it is. There she be, the Buc-ee's cup with the Tim Hortons coffee. I don't know how I thought this up, but we all have our vices, right? Hold on. Anyhow. So I mocked up the graphics on paper, and then I got some really pretty cool stuff here. You can get this for $12 on Amazon. The Avery full page stickers. Now, the full page stickers have no separations. There's just an entire page of sticky paper. And so what I did there was just, of course, print this once I was satisfied with the size, carefully cut it out using the X-Acto knife, and try not to go through the backing paper, but you can. Reusing this over and over until, of course, I used up all the space. So here we are. Here's a little decal. Here's the front of the 3090. You can tell your friends that this guy who has this little mainframe channel is a whack job, because after all, who would go through all this? I do. I think this is more fun than a barrel of monkeys, and I've never seen a barrel of monkeys. So anyhow, so here's what I'm going to try to do. Get this on here so that it doesn't run all over the place. There she is. What do you think, gentlemen? I'm pleased. I'm pleased with this. Now, one thing I did was I printed this in the they call it the speed mode, which means that it's not really great. You can see there's a lot of serrations, but after all, this is just for fun. If I really, really, really want to perfect this, and I'm not sure I do because there's so many other models of things that I want to print, mainframe related and so on. This is just for fun. Your friends don't have this. Nope. And because I really appreciate everybody who follows my channel. If you are a 3D printer and you want to do this kind of stuff, I will put a link to the STL files. I don't intend to make money off this channel. If I was making money off this channel, I would probably not be happy, because fun and money sometimes don't go hand in hand. Retired guy talk. Anyway, there's a 3090. What do you think, huh? All right, let's little tiny itty bitty monitor. So let's have some fun here. By the way, if you don't have these things, and these are dirt cheap on Amazon as well. These little Nico hardened calipers, you got to have these. There's just no living without it. So go ahead and grab yourself some of those things. Let's try this here. Let's just see how hard this is going to be to do. A little bit of care, a little bit of care here. Watch me foul this up rather nicely, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay. If you're a model maker, and I have lots of time under my belt as a model maker, you know that you just don't slice away. You have to finesse it. You have to be just, careful with it. You have to treat it nicely, and then it will do what you want it to do. So 2 or 3 runs over this with the X-Acto knife. Always have a sharp blade. Sharp blades are the key to happiness. Dull blades are the keys to losing your finger. Okay, almost there. We'll see how this thing goes. Almost. I'm feeling a little bit of drag, which means that a little bit of a burr is starting up on the X-Acto knife, which I don't want. Can you guys see that okay? Man, I'm a little bit too far under here. Let's just try it from here. All right, hang on. Almost done. The sound of my voice. Okay. All right, let's peel this guy off. And no, I went through. Even I'm not that good, but we'll see. All right, let's pull this guy off of here. Run it off the end of the knife. There's the monitor with a little base. And let's put this on properly. Oh, look, can you see I even got the little MVS TSO on it? Here we go. Okay, here we go. Applying it thusly. And I think I'll put that down here very carefully. And we're in. I'm pretty pleased about this. I can't find a downside to this. What do you think? Pretty neat, huh? And I'll do the same thing to the keyboard, and once this dries and hardens up, I'll do that. And I'll also apply all the rest of the stuff, but you don't need to watch me apply it. I think what we'll do now is we'll go over to the computer, and I'll show you how I did this on Tinkercad. Again, does this have anything to do with how you write a Rex program? No. But does it make this a lot more fun? Absolutely. All right, let's go play with the computer a little bit. Well, okay, here we are over at the computer, and this is Tinkercad, and Tinkercad is free from Autodesk. And I think originally what the purpose of Tinkercad was, it was to lead people into the Autodesk line of products, which in and of themselves are rather expensive. And for most people who are not doing this professionally or not doing this in a production quality environment, you can't justify the cost of some of these products. But there is a product called Fusion 360, which you can use. I don't particularly care for it, and it's not because it's not capable. Oh, is it ever capable? I just don't care for the workflow. And if you are in this kind of an environment, you know that workflow is everything. If you're frustrated and you're not happy with the way your workflow works, you're not going to be happy. So I didn't particularly care for the workflow, even though I took some of the online classes from Prusa, which is my 3D printer supplier of choice. I do love my Prusa printers. I decided to stick with Tinkercad, and a number of people that I know do the same. Even though it may look, for lack of a better word, childish, it is I repeat, far from childish. Anyway, here is the 1403 printer that I designed, and really it's just a basic thing here. It is all the pieces that would go into the way you would construct some object. You have how can I put this easily? You just have geometric shapes that you stick together in such a way that in the end it turns into what you want. And you add them together and take them apart and do all the things that you do until you have the piece that you want. So for instance, here's the main body of it. And I cut a hole in it because who needs to have a big thing full of plastic? And what I can do then is I can just break them down into their constituent pieces and have my way with them until they look as I want them to be. So, for instance, these two little things sticking out here, they're not actually the legs. They're just the thing that tells the computer or the design, take some space out of this black thing to make room for the legs. The actual legs are over here. Yeah, if this is not going to be a class in Tinkercad, but all I'm trying to say is that there is a way to make things without losing your mind, and this is my design tool of choice. And then I think you can see, hopefully you can see, how this is starting to show its what it's going to be here. Real quick, I'll just do this, and then we'll get off of this because it's not really mainframe related, and I know that's I'm going somewhere outside of that scope, but I think you'd find it kind of fun to see. All right, let me just finish doing this here so we can play with it. Let's turn this around completely the other direction. Don't worry if it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to a lot of people. And let me see if I can just make everything align properly. Probably can. You see how this is coming together? And then I just sort of drag this down to the top and I say, all right, let's have a look at that and make it a little bit more flat to see. And there it is. That's how you do it. It's not really rocket science, is it? And so I just sit there and using pictures that I find all over the place and the IBM documents and manuals and everything, I put together what in this case here is going to be or was or is a model 1403 printer. And the STL files, what that means that if you have a 3D printer or you know someone who can do this for you, all of the constituent components like the side panels and the legs and even the clear glass that goes in between there where the paper would come out, that's all available in the links that I'll put there. And if you know somebody wants to try this, have at it. The only caveat emptor is caveat emptor. This is for fun. And so if it's not going as you would hoped, if I can help, that's great, but I really don't know how. I don't know how I can. This is kind of what you see is what you get. Anyhow, that's how I'm making my little mini mainframe installation, my data center with Tinkercad. Pretty cool, huh? I think so. And let's go over and let's actually create the final product here. So once you have everything that you like and you have things the way you want them, you can just do something with them to make them go to the printer. So let's say here I want to take these two pieces right here and I want to print these. And I have them marked L and R so I can figure out which side they are. I say export, and this is the thing called the STL file, which is basically instead of instructions, there's a set of instructions to your printer. And then I double click on that and I open up the printer, the doodad here, there it is. And that is what goes to the actual printer itself, as though this thing here was the actual print bed that this thing squirts all of its plastic onto. Because if you think about it, a 3D printer is nothing but a super accurate hot glue gun. It really is. That's all it is. So I can move these around, rotate them, have my way with them. And once I'm happy with it, I then do this thing called slicing. And then the slicing takes it and makes all the little pieces, takes it everywhere it needs to go, the head, to create the shape. That's it. Not much to it. All right, let's pop out of this and make this a little shorter than usual, and then just summarize what I want to do with this so maybe you can see the logic behind all this. If there is any logic, there very well might not be. Well, we're not quite done yet. What I did want to talk about was the graphics. So here is what I've done, and it's nothing more than cutting and pasting all sorts of different sources. So, if you go to the interwebs and you say, "Hey, find me," I don't know, every picture you can of the Model 1403 printer, it's going to come up with all sorts of stuff. Most of course, is black and white. But you can find things which you can use as a source. The source for all your horsing around and fooling around, one of the things you can do is just do a screen grab and a cut and paste and so on. And you just kind of like build these things up until you get what you want. So if I really zoom in, let's do a 400%. Now we're in there. And then get over here to where I need to be. All right. So you can see what I did. I grabbed things from the internet. I used other built-in things. For instance, if I ungroup these, then the individual pieces become available for me to change the color. And all I have to do now is just print this to the color printer, to an inkjet printer, onto that Avery sticky label stuff, and I'll be able to affix it to my models. Same thing down here, for instance. Boy, that's the fun part of being tiny. You can really zoom. Let's see if this thing will take 500%. Why not? It is. Let's go even further. Let's take, 750%. There's an interest rate. Boom. So I found this on the internet, and all it is a kind of a 3D looking keyboard. It's got all the function keys. This is the actual keyboard you might see on a 3270M terminal, the real deal. Same thing with this, the IBM 1403. All I did was this, is just cut and paste it. And put a little graphic on there of the 1403. Same thing. Nothing special. Up here, same thing. If I ungroup these, then you can get to the pieces parts and move them around to your heart's content. So if you wanted to do this kind of stuff, you don't have to spend money. Nope. I mean, except for the 3D printer, of course, and the stuff that you have to print with. But that's really cheap. The filament for a 3D printer these days is really inexpensive. I've purchased a lot of stuff from just generic stuff from Micro Center, from Amazon, and so forth, and it runs just fine for like $14, $15 a roll, which lasts for a long time. This was something that I just grabbed off the internet. I think we've all seen this, if not, and shrunk her down until it more or less fit in the spot. And then you can use your keys to move it around. I don't mean to drag you through this kind of boring stuff, but what I wanted to show you was, except for the 3D printing investment, which for that little mini was, I think, $450, and I bought it about a year and a half ago, a little present to myself, everything else is free. And if you have a Google account, this stuff comes with it. There's nothing special. The thing called the slicer from Prusa, that's free. Tinkercad, that's free as well. Not a heavy investment to have some modeling fun, and I think this is a great way to expand on my little mainframe obsession, which has been going on for quite a while. All right. Well, there you have it. That explains everything, does it? I don't know that explains everything. It explains maybe why I'm a little not wrapped right. But it's fun. Hey, listen, thank you for following along. I hope this was a fun departure. And next video, we'll get back into the thick of it as usual. Appreciate all the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, so you can keep up with my generally weekly musings. And we'll keep playing with all this fun stuff that's available to us for nothing, really. All right, take care. Talk to you later, and bye for now.